say? Moderation helps everyone feel safe to build. Choose who can participate. Set the lane between. All right, I know I ain't been on here a long time. All right, man. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Oh, I pressed the wrong button. That wasn't the button I was supposed to press. Welcome back. Listen, today is Wednesday. All right, so we made a few changes to to the to the L Veins Radio Morning Show. All right, so welcome back. All right, we're gonna start that over. We're gonna start it over. All right, welcome back to L Veins Radio. All right, so it's Wednesday. So it's our Wednesday morning edition show. Today we're gonna be talking about news, the culture, a little bit of comedy. We're gonna be talking about a few different things. I made a few changes. As you can see, I'm not in my car. I guess I leveled up a little bit. No, I'm joking. I actually just came inside. I actually used to love hotboxing in my car, but I guess you got to grow up somehow, right? You got to grow up eventually. But yeah, so as you see right there, that's Soul Nightcap, which is my podcast, right? Podcast hosted by L Veins. But today, man, the few changes that I made, I want to talk about, the news, like I was saying. I want to talk about the culture, some local comics, right? And still give you that Win Wednesday feeling. All right, I guess we rebranded. All right, ain't nothing wrong with a little rebrand in your life. All right, get you a little rebrand. You know what I'm saying? Understand that that might be where you need to be. You might need to be rebranded, right? Maybe it ain't working because you ain't rebranded, right? You can rebrand it as many times as you want. It don't matter what nobody says. Remember that. All right. So yeah, man. Listen. One thing I wanted to say, a lot of people want the finished product, right? They want the finished product, but they don't see the nights, you spend building it, right? So every idea starts with a quiet decision to leave. All right. So like I was saying, good morning, good morning. Welcome to L Veins Radio, right? Where we talk about everything, right? Bringing you stories, conversation, and everything in between. All right. So today I wanted to talk about Nancy Guthrie. So Nancy Guthrie is the mother of Savannah Guthrie, right? So she went missing earlier this year, February of this year, and unfortunately, she has not been found, right? So it has gotten some national notoriety because she is the mother of Savannah Guthrie, which is the NBC newscaster, right? So um, what I wanted to say is, we do notice that people are missing every day, right? So that sometimes begs the question, right? Like, um, does fame cause attention, right? For this person. So, for example, if I was an NBC anchor, right, they would be trying to find my mother, right? And we should find all mothers. That's not what I'm saying. We should find all mothers, all missing people. But sometimes I'll scroll on Facebook, right, and there'll be a missing person. And sometimes I'll see so many missing people on Facebook that I'll be thinking there's no way this many people can be missing, right? Um, so I wanted to say, right, also it is hard, I think, going to work after, right, your mother is missing. So she's still, as far as I know, she's still on NBC doing the news. She's still doing all the things that she has to do, and her mother is missing. So prayers out to her family. She's staying strong. Unfortunately, her mother has not been found. Um, if there's any information on that subject, I guess DM me at L Veins Radio on Instagram. I'm really getting into this news thing. I want to start doing that more. I want to. Can you shout me out so I can get to it? Shout out to Soapy Toes all year round. But yeah, man. So yeah, so I'm getting into this news thing. One other thing I wanted to talk about is future performing at the World Cup, right? I think it's it's inspirational to see someone, come from where he's come from and, you know, make it to where they are, right? So he started, right, March Madness, right? So we went from March Madness, right? He went from same damn time, right, to game time at the World Cup, right? At with Tyler, right? So I think also okay, that's enough Future. I love Future, one of my favorite artists, but not right now. Anyway, um, but yeah, so I think you should take that as inspiration as well. Even Jalen Brunson and the Knicks, right, beating the Spurs and Wembanyama, right? I think to me, I found that inspirational because that's more like a David versus Goliath situation, right? The Knicks, they haven't won in however many years. The Spurs, hell, Tim Duncan got 5 rings by himself, right? But it's almost like heart over height, right? Heart over height, and the boys pulled it through, man. The boys pulled it through. But yeah, so I think this is the year of going for it. Whatever you've been working on or trying to do, I'm not saying quit your job like I did, but do it. So take the little steps to get there, right? Another thing I wanted to talk about is comedy, right? So I think comedy is changing, right? I think for example, Druski, right? Like Drewski's skits are like episodes of Martin, right? We're watching his skits like we used to watch sitcoms, right? Our skits the new sitcom? Like you got Drewski, you got Desi Banks, you got Jack Funny, all these comedians that essentially are creating their own platform and their own lane. Like, is that where do you think that's where comedy is going? This is a question to you people. I don't mean it like that, you people, but I'm just saying the ones on. Yeah, man. Yeah. So like do you think Drewski is the new blueprint to this comedy thing, right? So comedy, I think comedy is changing. Um, I think does going viral translate into a lasting career? So, we're in the era of virality, right? The era of virality over um long-term success, right? So I think, for example, Jeff Jerry Seinfeld once said, basically he wrote, he wrote bits every day, right? Comic bits every day, and that's how he said to himself, some of this has to be good, right? Now instead of just using what we have, we have money, we have resources, like now comedy is about joking on the crowd, right? So the crowd reactions and speaking with basically I forgot his name. I think his name is Nate. Nate, yeah, Nate Funny, or I don't know if his name is Nate Funny. No, Nate Jackson, I think is his name. He's a comic that does that, right? And then you also have Funny as Fuck with Kevin Hart, right? So part of that was also crowd control, right? So what I'm wondering is that where comedy is going instead of us just like I remember when Kevin Hart, was doing more stand up, all right, all right, all right, right? Um, was he as far as I know he wasn't joking, on the crowd, just like these days we do, right? Now a part. Now that's a part of the game. Um, Another thing I wanted to talk about is I wanted to shed some light on some local comics. A few local comics, I wanted to talk about. One is this guy. His name is JerryWill. So I call him, he's fearless because he does the grocery store pranks. Me, I do not have the, I do not have the, excuse me, I'll say insanity. I do not have the insanityness of, you know, one who would walk up to someone and just you know, do pranks on them in the grocery store. So for example, you may be shopping for your family. Next thing you know, you're in a skit. All right. So for me, I love it. I think it's funny. I think it's also spontaneous. You know, you don't know what will happen. I seen one video where he told this dude his car is getting towed. So they ran all the way out to his car. They ran all the way out to his car. His car wasn't getting towed. All right. Now you do that to me, we got a problem. All right. But for the consumer, is that what we're going toward, right? So you know, they also there's many comics I think taking that lane today where you know their regular everyday life is a skit. All right. But you know, shout out to JerryWill, man. Keep doing your thing. Um, Another comic I wanted to talk about was Jacoby Burton. So Jacoby Burton is a Tampa-based comic, I believe. Actually, all these comics are Tampa-based, I believe. You know, Tampa and surrounding areas. You know, he's more so laid-back storyteller. You know, he's funny without being funny. You know, sometimes you have people where you know, their cadence is funny. The way they just truly are is just funny, right? You ever had a friend where they weren't trying to be funny, but they were funny because they were being real. You know, it's that this is actually how they felt about this, right? He also does reactions as a lot of comics do these days, right? So is that what we're going toward as well? You know, reactions where you know you see a video on Instagram, big booty shaking, right? Big booty shaking, and then next thing you know, he goes to the comic and he's like, mm, right? So, you know, you got reactions these days. Another comic I wanted to talk about, my last one, was also a person who I had on my podcast, DC813. He's also a Tampa based comic as well. Um, he's funny and entertaining. So, some people that you watch are watchable, right? Like their voice can be funny, the way they stand, the way they do their jokes, obviously their cadence, but they're also real, right? So he reminds me of like a cousin at the cookout, right? To me, but I don't know if you guys have cousins like that, but that's the type of cousin I got, right? But yeah, so shout out to all the Tampa-based comics. I'm probably shouting out a few more, you know, on the next upcoming episodes of the L Veins Radio Morning Show. But the last thing I wanted to talk about is that, you know, are we living in the era of fake success? Right? Like we living in the era of fake success where there's, you know, it's performance over reality. You know, we got social media highlighting instead of showing our full lives, right? I think personally, I think social media shouldn't be taken seriously. I think it should be a brand. I think it should be you branding yourself. You know, for some people, it's an alter ego. Um, some people have a fence. To me, I don't think I have a. To me, I don't have a Finsta because I think Insta is the Finsta. I'm not going to look at social media and think that that is who you are. This is social media, right? Right. So you know, we post our wins. We're always posting about what's going good in our life, and I'm not saying you should post about what's not going good in your life because for some people they may think that's an attention grab, right? But are we really being real with ourselves, right? Do followers equate to true success? You know, because I know millionaires who have hundreds of followers. I know people who I would say doing well, but not are millionaires. But you know, they have immense amount of followers. I think followers are just that, followers, right? Um, Now you want to learn how to monetize your followers. You want to learn how to monetize whatever you're doing in life, right? But that's besides the point. But yeah, so we're in this illusion economy, right? We're in this technological era where um, you know um, I don't want to date him if he doesn't have enough followers, or I don't want to date him if he can't provide me with the life that I believe I want, only based on truly other people's opinions because of social media, right? So there's this an illusion economy. There's there's rentals posing as ownership. There's borrowed aesthetics. There's speed versus substance. So everybody wants it now, instant gratification, right? Instead of taking our time with it. All right. So yeah, everyone's chasing the virality of it. Essentially, if everybody's winning, who's losing? And I'm not saying people should lose or they should have to lose, but um, nobody's losing, everybody's winning. All right. So how can someone help you if they don't know what you're truly going through? Like, for example, if you look at my Instagram, you may think that I am romantic. I'm not saying I'm not. But what I'm saying is you're gonna look at it and think that. You're gonna look at it, you're gonna see roses, you're gonna see poetry, you're gonna see all these things. But I am really only though I am truly only those things for one person. 22, I don't know this. Good morning, Eliza. Good morning, everyone, actually. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Elvane's Radio. I appreciate you guys tuning in. This is my first day back. Uh, and feeling good. Feeling good, I think also there's a pressure to monetize everything, right? Um, Sometimes a hobby can be just that, a hobby. But it's 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 the I think it's also the era of art. So I say that because I think more people are following their hearts more now than ever. I think no one wants to work anymore. No one wants to. Actually, no one wanted to work before. But now there are so many different ways to acquire the life that you want. There are so many different ways to go after your dreams. There, like, for example, I'm recording myself right now. 50 years ago, motherfucker didn't have a phone. All right. But now you can make your dreams come true. That is the era that we're in. So I don't think we're in the era of fake success. So it may look like fake success because one can portray success before success has been attained. But this is the era of making it happen. This is the era of where where does your heart want to be, right? And I say that also because people leaving people. Ain't nobody trying to make it work. If it don't work, I'm out, right? This is the era of free, right? The era of options, the era of seeing what truly I can have for myself, right? But yeah, so I don't think it's the era of fake success. I think it's more so the era of excess with an E. So EXCESS. Yes. But so before we wrap up, Wednesday morning, let's talk about a win. So a win could be waking up and still showing up for your life when nobody uh, is checking on you, right? So still showing up when no one's clapping for you, right? Win is building in silence while the world is busy performing, right? Sometimes we want to be on the scene so much that we haven't practiced it. We haven't put in enough time to truly carve this masterpiece that we call ourselves into something that should be on display now, right? A win could be choosing discipline over distraction, right? Even when distraction is easy. A lot of times distraction is easier, actually. Uh, but I want to thank you guys for tuning in today to L Vane's Radio, the first episode back, the first morning show back. So we're gonna be back here Monday and Wednesday, every morning and Wednesday, at 8:30 Central Time. No, 7:30 Central Time. We're gonna be here 7:30 Central Time. I was a bit late today, but that was today. It wasn't like y'all was expecting me or anything. But yeah, until next time, thank you for tuning in. Now, have a great day.